And whether you're in Washington, D.C. or Pierce, South Dakota, the rhetoric and tone in any political conversation in 2025 can turn intense, and it can happen quickly.
And we're seeing this happen right now with House Bill 1239 in Pierre. It deals with a topic that has commanded national attention in recent years: what should and should not be available to the kids in a library.
KELOLAND's Dan Santella looks at what lawmakers have said and talks to the president of the South Dakota Library Association. Good evening, Dan.
Hey, Don. House Bill 1239 originally would have made it easier for our librarians to face charges if they let kids check out obscene or harmful material. After an amendment, it now says schools and libraries must update policies allowing parents to question whether a book is obscene or harmful to kids. It would then be up to the library or school board to decide if that's true. If the parent doesn't like the decision, it could go in front of a judge. It's a discussion that spurred strong emotions and comments.
In Pierre, Republican Travis Ismay, who represents northwestern South Dakota in the state house, made it clear what he thought of questionable material in the hands of his family.
If a librarian rented this out to my son or daughter, you'd be lucky if you got hauled out of there in handcuffs.
HB 1239 eventually made it out of the House on a 38-32 vote. The Senate considered the legislation yesterday, with Republican Taffy Howard of the Rapid City area arguing passionately to keep certain material away from kids.
None of our children should be exposed to this garbage. It's absolute garbage. And no one, I don't care what your job is, no one should be able to hide behind their job and use that as a way to provide this garbage to our children. And I don't know that any of our librarians are. I don't know that any of them are. I would like to think none of our librarians are.
And Elizabeth Fox, president of the South Dakota Library Association, thinks along similar lines.
No librarian that I have ever met goes out and intends to produce or provide materials to a minor that's going to harm them. That's not why we became librarians. That being said, everybody's reading tastes are different, and that includes kids.
But Howard's argument also echoes Ismay's, and Fox doesn't appreciate it.
If somebody had knowingly given that to my children when they were little, I'd want them strung up from the nearest tree.
In many instances in South Dakota, libraries are run by people with little or no training, who have not chosen the books and have not read them and do not know their content. And I think the rhetoric around this is extreme.
For Fox, the current climate toward librarians is a problem, one which has led her to look beyond South Dakota.
There is a house near Walla Walla, Washington that I considered putting an offer on to leave South Dakota. I feel personally betrayed.
I spoke with Senator Taffy Howard on the phone this afternoon and asked her about that comment concerning the nearest tree. She described that as, quote, an exaggeration, and also said she, quote, could have chosen better words. She also made clear that that is not something she would have literally done. I also reached out to Rep. Ismay by email, where I asked him about his comment on being lucky if you got hauled out of there in handcuffs. The Representative Travis Ismay replied by saying, quote, my stance has not changed in the least, and I have nothing to add. This afternoon, HB 1239 passed the full House by a vote of 36-34.